Exclusive satellite images revealing the location of a previously unknown Iranian nuclear site. Now, the facility spans nearly 2,500 acres, and this is a big discovery. Jillian Turner has more from the State Department. Good morning, Jillian.
Pretty explosive, Dana. These satellite images that we have obtained exclusively show the alleged site location and even the layout of the secret, previously unknown nuclear weapons facilities inside Iran. This, of course, raises fresh concerns about the regime's role in these ongoing nuclear talks with the Trump administration. The National Council of Resistance of Iran has collected intelligence from sources on the ground inside Iran that locate this nuclear weapons facility in what is called Semnan province, far from the regime's already known nuclear sites. It's codenamed the Rainbow Site by Iran's officials, and it spans nearly 2,500 acres. It's been operating as far as we can discern.
Well, folks, yeah, it looks like some shit's about to pop off. I told you I wasn't sure if I was going to be back again today with another video, but looks like I can't avoid it. We've got a few posts here that I want to kind of scroll through. But first, we're going to watch this abridged version of Jon Stewart in The Daily Show that Jack Posobiec says Jon Stewart just launched an edited video attacking the biggest MAGA voices standing against regime change war. He says himself, Bannon, Charlie Kirk, and Marjorie Taylor Greene. His agenda is so transparent. Speaking of transparent, see if you guys can pick up on just that in this Daily Show clip. Here, watch.
Perhaps the reason why the president is being cagey about all this is because not all of the MAGA are embracing Netanyahu's bomb fetishes.
We cannot be dragged into, inexorably dragged into a war in the Middle East.
We put America first, and that means American interests first.
Our MAGA base, they do not want the United States to be engaged in this.
I don't know anyone that wakes up and thinks about bombing Iran.
She doesn't know anyone who wakes up and thinks about bombing Iran. I got to tell you, I don't think she knows anyone who wakes up and thinks. But credit, they enjoyed that one. But you know what? I'm going to say this. This may surprise some people. Credit where credit is due. I certainly have tremendous policy and, in some instances, space laser differences with these folks. But I applaud any group that is steadfast in a diplomacy-first posture. The only problem with their posture that I see with it is their reluctance to commit America's military to fighting drawn-out and often pointless wars doesn't seem to extend to America.
President Trump should fully deploy the military in the streets. Take back the streets of LA. Do it and do it fast.
Huh? Doesn't want to be in Iran. He wants to be in LA. He doesn't want.
You got to be careful with these sound bites because the left's going to use them. And Jon Stewart is, desperate here for views outside of inviting AOC on his podcast to tell him about how all the Democrats inside of Congress are engaged in insider trading. And he's just snapping his fingers like some freaking beatnik or something.
Want to deploy the military overseas. He wants to save the military for the real threat, us. He's not being hypocritical, just fucking mind-blowing. The MAGA mindset appears to be, we didn't vote for foreign wars. We voted for civil war.
I feel like whoever is funding like Midas Touch is probably also funding The Daily Show. Because the way that they manipulate and twist these words and create these edited clips, yeah, Jack's right. His agenda is so transparent.
This is a war. The battle for America was going to take place in Los Angeles. The only way to win here is to double and triple down.
The current war that we are seeing waged by the Democrats, by the foreign nationals waving Mexican flags.
The city of Los Angeles is an occupied city. It is time to retake the cities of this country. It is time to use force.
What the They are looking for any pretense. They are looking for any pretense to sick their robot dogs on Democrats. And the strategy that they're using is to inflate the threat that this country now faces, to so rile up their base as to make the left in this country, represented by over 75 million votes in the past presidential election, as a legitimate military target for the United States of America. It's a strategy that's been used before to gin up military conflict.
Now, we all see through this, right? Jon Stewart, he's got a job to do. He's got Kool-Aid to drink. You know, this isn't the first, nor will it be the last instance of this. But it wasn't until just now that I watched this and I noticed and I saw something that I hadn't seen before. And it's just funny. It's just ironic. Did y'all see it? Did you pick up on it? The Daily Show. The Daily Show is literally TDS. They got like a little transparent, opaque overlay in the bottom right-hand corner that is, in essence, Trump derangement syndrome. That is The Daily Show. I had shared with you guys earlier Trump's posting on X, which the last time he posted on X was a few days ago, but he's usually posting on Truth Social. And this one here says, we now have complete and total control of the skies over Iran. Iran had good sky trackers and other defense equipment and plenty of it, but it doesn't compare to American-made, conceived and manufactured stuff. Nobody does it better than the good old US of A. More recently, or actually probably maybe right around the same time, but after that post, there's another post. He says, we know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He's an easy target, but is safe there. We are not going to take him out, kill, at least not for now. But we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So obviously we know who that's directed towards and who he's talking to. And if you watch the last video and a flashback to Trump 2019, this all makes sense. Civilian casualty is not necessarily high on his list of priorities here, or at least once. President Trump, let me be abundantly clear here, does not want innocent people dying, period. And instead, in fact, he's actually requesting an unconditional surrender. That would be the easiest way for this to go down for all parties involved, right? But the reason why I'm interested to see what happens next is we've got a post here, and we've got a few posts from these different accounts on X, all stating the same. Basically, Iranian state media telling folks that there's a surprise tonight that the world will remember for centuries. And then we see this one here from Laura Loomer that says the Iranian regime just released this video of someone stroking a nuclear bomb. We got Pete Hegseth here with a stern reminder or warning. When an opponent sees our well-equipped and tough-as-nails warriors, they will see that today is not the day to test American resolve. But more importantly is this post here from J.D. Vance. I'm going to read it to you. Now, I don't want to make any speculations here, but this is pretty much just going to be for your own knowledge and information, and then we'll track it and see what happens next, okay? J.D. Vance, very, very precise, clear. Really looking forward to the future, potentially, President J.D. Vance, not just Vice President. And he says, look, I'm seeing this from the inside and am admittedly biased towards our president and my friend. But there's a lot of crazy stuff on social media, so I wanted to address some things directly on the Iran issue. First, POTUS has been amazingly consistent over 10 years that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Over the last few months, he encouraged his foreign policy team to reach a deal with the Iranians to accomplish this goal. The president has made clear that Iran cannot have uranium enrichment, And he said repeatedly that this would happen one of two ways, the easy way or the other way. Second, I've seen a lot of confusion over the issue of civilian nuclear power and uranium enrichment. And these are distinct issues. Iran could have civilian nuclear power without enrichment, but Iran rejected that. Meanwhile, they've enriched uranium far above the level of necessary for any civilian purpose. And they've been found in violation of their non-proliferation obligations by the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, which is hardly a right-wing organization. It's one thing to want civilian nuclear energy. It's another thing to demand sophisticated enrichment capacity. And it's still another to cling to enrichment while simultaneously violating basic non-proliferation obligations and enriching right to the point of weapons-grade uranium. I have yet to see a single good argument for why Iran needed to enrich uranium well above the threshold for civilian use. I have yet to see a single good argument for why Iran was justified in violating its non-proliferation obligations. And I have yet to see a single good pushback against the IAEA's findings. Meanwhile, the president has shown remarkable restraint in keeping our military's focus on protecting our troops and protecting our citizens. And he may decide he needs to take further action to end Iranian enrichment. And that decision ultimately belongs to the president. And of course, people are right to be worried about foreign entanglement after the last 25 years of idiotic foreign policy. But I believe the president has earned some trust on this issue. And having seen this up close and personal, I can assure you that he is only interested in using the American military to accomplish the American people's goals. Whatever he does, that is his focus. Please keep that in mind, folks, and don't forget it, as I've been reading a lot of the comments here recently, and whether they're longtime viewers and subscribers, voted for President Trump, or maybe the algorithms pushing my videos out to a wider audience of not necessarily Trump supporters and Trump voters and Republicans or MAGA conservatives, but who knows who. More importantly, President Trump has already made it clear. He's left specific instruction if Iran were to try to do the unthinkable. I don't know what they have planned. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's all a front. Maybe it's a false flag. Maybe it's an empty promise. But I do know that when it's all said and done, we probably shouldn't, at the very least, be receiving any real important information or news from Jon Stewart, Comedy Central, and The Daily Show. I mean, I don't even know if we have our own version of that would counter it, but it's literally an entertainment-based fake news platform that continuously fills the minds and confirms the confirmation bias of the left and Democrats with exactly what they want, only done by information taken out of context and clever editing. Yeah, folks, we're better than that. And we have more important issues at hand here. Our own safety here domestically, whether it be with ICE or local law enforcement or the National Guard or the Marines, to make sure that happens. And we're not by any means going to ignite a civil war, especially when a portion of those fighting this war aren't even legal citizens of this country. So I'm not quite sure how that could even be the case. So there's that. And beyond that, protecting and keeping all Americans safe from any threat, foreign or domestic. And I trust President Trump. I trust JD Vance. And I trust that whatever happens is done with this focus.